Hi everyone, Audron here, and welcome to Wild Bush and Grit. So, you shut down a deer, you're field dressing it, and you're wondering, can I safely eat the liver? Today, I cover everything about this delicious but complicated offal. Deer liver is rich in nutrients like iron, vitamin A, B vitamins, and it can be a great source of nutrition, but there are some important safety considerations to keep in mind. Let's talk about heavy metals. Deer, especially those living near industrial or mining areas, can accumulate heavy metals in their system. These metals comes from contaminated soil and plant. Eating liver with high concentration of cadmium can pose serious health risk. Cadmium is a close relative to zinc and mercury, but while zinc is actually healthy for us, mercury and cadmium are not. Cadmium poses several risks to humans, especially if the exposure is chronic or in a high dose. And in terms of problem related to cadmium, the list is really long. We're talking about kidney damage, liver damage, cancer, fertility issues, fetal issues, and the most notorious problem with cadmium is the Japanese disease called itai itai, which means ouch ouch. In the 40s through the 60s, Japanese farmers were intoxicated by a mining operation. The studies reveals that the Japanese farmers were ingesting 1 milligram of cadmium daily, which is 20 times the acceptable limits. So what does this mean to us today? An Ontario study found that in average, deer liver in Ontario were having 0.08 milligram of cadmium per kilogram. Cross studies revealed that the amounts were relatively the same between Quebec and Manitoba. However, Maine had much lower amount, but the rate of the Canadian provinces were lower than those in Pennsylvania. And actually, Pennsylvania is one of the states with the highest rate of cadmium in deer liver. I don't have recent numbers. By 2024, the studies I'm referring to were made in the 80s. By 2024, are we better off today with our pollution control? I can't tell. So my first advice is you need to know where you hunt. Okay, if it's a heavy industrialized area, a lot of agriculture also operation going on there, it's probably not safe. You know, if we go with the national average here in Canada, 0.8 milligram, which is not really high, but also not really low, it's still a lot. Because out of that kilo, if you take a slice of 200 grams, for example, you still have 0.16 milligram of cadmium in that slice. And the acceptable limit being 0.05 milligram a day, okay? And know that cadmium is everywhere. So some of the vegetables that you're getting at the grocery or the rice that you're eating also has cadmium. So all this has a compounding effect. A terrible idea would be to collect all the livers from your hunting quarry. You know, if you're a group of 4 and you gather all the livers from, you know, let's say each of you had 2 deer and you go home with, and then you go home with 8 liver, nothing good will come out of this, okay? Another thing I would recommend is to check with the health advisory committee in your area to know the states. Also, if you're wondering about moose, the cadmium level in moose were actually higher than those in deer. And the rate in moose were 1.1 to 3.2 milligram per kilogram. Okay, so it's higher. One thing that could alleviate most of this is the age of the animal you're taking down. All right, the cadmium will accumulate in the body through the lifespan of the animal. So that old 12 pointers, maybe not a good idea. If you have a yearling or a year and a half deer, it's probably better and certainly more palatable. And that's it, folks. This is all you need to know about eating deer liver. See you, folks. Bye-bye.